Okay.
Start.
Just go.
Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm Courtney.
And I'm MK.
And was that as weird for you as it was for us?
I just wanted to shake things up a little bit.
Oh. She just asked me 10 seconds ago if I wanted to introduce this episode, and I got really nervous. So, I did it. I think I said all the right words. I don't even know.
You skipped the word TV, but like other than that,
look,
right?
I did enough words. You know what we're talking about.
It's only episode 103.
Right. If you're with us, you're with us. If you're not, you're not. I'm sorry. I don't know.
And if you're just tuning in for Bates Motel and this is the first episode you've ever watched, I'm so sorry.
We do know what we're doing, kind of.
Vaguely,
yeah. So I've completely been thrown off, but how was things? How was your week? Tell me something.
For those who are watching the podcast and not just listening, I have matte black coffin fingernails, which clearly means a boy fucked with me. And these were my revenge nails.
She's going through something.
Literally, we're at the nail salon. And my nail guy, I love him. He was like, "Oh, you want to look nice for your boyfriend?" And Teresa just goes quite the opposite. She'd like to piss him off. And he goes, "Oh, no." And I go, "Yeah, no, we're not talking to him. Boys are not a good thing." He goes, "Why boy so dumb? Happy woman, happy life. Duh." And I was like, I love this man.
Absolutely.
So happy woman, happy life. These nails clearly say that I am not.
But they look great.
Yeah. And they're on brand for the fact that I'm turning 30.
Yeah.
Like soon.
Like soon.
Like, God, what day is this today?
17th. It's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day is on a Thursday, and I know that because I get paid on that day. So it's the 16th.
This comes out on a Thursday.
Oh, it does.
It's Thursdays.
That's right. We switched.
And I know that because I didn't win on Wicked Wednesday.
Right. No, you're right. This does. I was like, no, St. Patrick's Day is a Thursday because I get paid.
No, trust me, I know. I'll be working in an Irish bar. Do not think I have forgotten what St. Patrick's Day is.
Right. Which means that in like literally a week, I'm turning 30.
How exciting, though.
And so for my birthday, I will be celebrating by throwing a funeral for my 20s. My birthday party is going to be dress code all black. I have a friend making coffin-shaped cookies. My sister asked if she could make anything. I told her I wanted a black velvet cake.
Ooh.
I've got these nails. I bought a new outfit. Got all these balloons that say like rest in peace. I'm like taking this very seriously because like, you know what? I'm getting rid of this decade. Like get rid of all of it. Just take it all.
Meanwhile, for my 30th, I'm planning to go to Disney World. So, two different kinds of people. I'm celebrating becoming 30 and she is mourning.
No. I'm celebrating becoming 30 by properly burying everything that happened before 30.
I think that's fair. I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Starting new.
I like it.
It's going to be crystals and tarot cards and alcohol and coffins and just...
I am so bummed I will not be there.
I am so bummed you will not be there.
But literally, my mom did come visit me that week.
Literally, Monica was like, "Courtney's coming up for that, right?" And I was like, "No."
Courtney has 17 jobs and never can get a day off.
That's what I said. I was like, there's a 0% chance she can get off of work that weekend.
No. But it's okay. You're going to have a great time. I can't wait to see pictures.
How about you? Are you setting anything on fire?
Not currently.
Okay.
Not today.
Okay. Good.
We'll come back to that. We'll circle back. But I've had a week where I've just kind of dove back into the podcast because I love it so much. I've been trying to be more active on social.
Yes.
And speaking of, I bought a lot of things because I just started buying things and couldn't stop. So I will show you some of these things.
Oh God, I don't even know about this.
You do. You were there. You just forgot because you were in the middle of some stuff. So I bought Lot Grove.
Oh yes.
To read.
Yes, I was there with you in the middle of things. You're right.
Yes. And the show we saw and we've spoken about potentially doing on the podcast is a movie. I bought The Woman in Black. I bought these all from thrift books, which is a great place to buy used books. They're cheap, it's fast enough, it's great. And the book that I started reading and also bought because we're working on Bates Motel is The First Psycho. And I'm not very far in because I keep falling asleep because I worked a lot of hours this week, but I have started it and it makes sense so far because we did watch the movie. If you haven't listened to the podcast before, or you don't know what we're about, we did cover Psycho for Halloween last year, 2021. If you want to go back and listen to it before you listen to this season, that would be cool because I'm going to be comparing the movie and when I finish the book, also probably the book to the show.
And I will say, having watched the movie recently enough that it's in like my peripheral memory, I had a lot of problems with the show purely like not actual, like I had guttural reactions to things in the show that I don't think I would have if I didn't know where it was going. Like, you know what I mean? Like there were moments that I'm like, that bothers me, but I don't think it would if I wasn't comparing it.
Right. I think that's fair. I have some comments to make when we get there. Yes. Also this week, I don't know if you remember me telling you, we had the Bravo party at the bar for the podcast Watch What's Crappening Live.
Yes.
So the guy who put it on, his name is Richie, and he comes to the bar every couple of weeks and he's great. And I always talk to him while he's in there. I learned, for those of you like Bravo, I didn't really know his connection to these people. He works in he works for a corporation, not Bravo related. So I was just like, whatever, you are related somehow. Turns out he's related because he has this like Instagram profile where he does Bravo memes that is followed by like Andy Cohen and like other Bravo people. So if anybody's interested, it's called Caduce. It looks really funny. I do not watch enough Bravo to know what's going on, but I do know Richie because I talk to him every couple of weeks. Let me spell it for you.
Oh, I don't worry. I already found them.
Okay, well,
you could spell it. You could spell it for our followers.
Okay. If you like Bravo, it's Kadooze, like one of the Real Housewives. I think says that sometime. But it's funny, and it's cute, and he's got lots of followers. He's real popular. So if you like Bravo memes, that's where you should go.
I don't think that I know enough about Bravo.
I do not. I have watched I watched the first season of Southern Charm New Orleans because I know Reagan. She was in law school with me. That is the only thing I have connection to Bravo with. But Real Housewives, man, they're popular.
They are very popular. I do, in fact, know a lot of the individual housewives, like from other things that they've done. But I've never watched any of the Housewives shows.
Yeah. I also have not. I don't know that they're up my alley. Maybe they would be.
See, they're absolutely up my alley because it's middle-aged white women getting, not all of them obviously are white, but like the Jersey and Orange County, which were like the first two, it's like middle-aged white women getting drunk and complaining about things that they have no business complaining about, which like very much sounds up my alley.
And I know that there's a lot of like drama between getting arrested and embezzling. Yeah. I've heard about that from, is that what is it? Oh my gosh, Salt Lake City? Was that Salt Lake City? Or no, was that the one where she was kind of in a cult or something?
Probably Salt Lake City and a cult. That sounds about right.
Right. That's I may have just like put that connection together because there was like a whole Mormon thing about it too, and that's all Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, so that is my highlights of the week because he's one of my favorite people that comes into the bar. And so it was nice to be able to like after I dealt with this really annoying group of people that had a party there for 2 hours, I got to go and talk to people I actually like. So
yay.
That was nice. Yeah, so the other highlight to my week was starting Bates Motel, which we had one recommendation for from my friend Vicky, and it went on our Wheel of Fun, as MK so lovingly calls it.
And let me tell you, Monica was so mad. She was like, how did you have American Horror Story there that many times and it didn't win? I go, you're asking the wrong person.
Becca was also mad.
I assumed we would be talking about American Horror Story.
Yeah.
But alas, we are here.
I know.
And I'm not entirely mad at it.
I mean, I'm not mad at it because I liked everything that was recommended. So, like, yeah, I would have been fine with anything we got.
I just found the serendipitousness of having watched Psycho and Stargate as our most recent movie recommendations, and then having Psycho and Stargate be our first show when we split off into horror and sci-fi. I just found that to be chef's kiss.
100%. 100%. I agree. I think that was great. And I have talked to some of my other friends about it, and some have been like either super stoked to watch it or have also watched it and said it was really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's dive in. This episode, of course, I wrote the title on the wrong page. So it is called First You Dream, Then You Die, which is fun and uplifting. Welcome to Thriller Thursdays. We will be fun and uplifting all the time. It was rated 8 out of 10 stars, so very on par with our first episode of Stargate.
Yes.
It premiered, speaking of serendipity, it premiered March 18th of 2013. This episode comes out on March 17th. So, hello, tomorrow is the anniversary, the 9th anniversary of Bates Motel premiering on A&E.
All right.
So it was meant to be. We didn't know.
We didn't know.
It was meant to be. The number one movie at this time, we are in 2013. People do not know what movies are anymore, was The Croods. And let me tell you, The Croods. How was it ever a number one movie of anything? Much less this week. The second one, I think, came out recently. I don't know. I didn't care.
Yeah.
So that happened. Oh, but it gets better. Because if you think about where were you in 2013? I was a sophomore in college. Well, yeah, March 2013, I was a sophomore in college.
I was a junior in college getting ready to go to my New York City internship for theater. I was stage managing the Free Penny Opera, and I was drinking a lot.
I had just decided I was changing my major to business out of music, but I was still in my music classes, still heavily involved in the band, and I was living with Caitlin.
And by drinking a lot, I clearly mean I was not drinking a lot because this is a week before my 21st birthday.
Yes, so no alcohol was involved. I was not living anywhere at this point in time because I didn't move in with Caitlin until May. I was
living with Bridget and Megan, and we were eating tubs of Tostitos cheese dip on the couch every week.
That sounds incredible.
Oh, I love them.
I did stay a lot. Caitlin and I just didn't actually live there till like May. So if you think about this time in your life, in college, things were weird. The number one song was the Harlem Shake. I
No, no,
very
absolutely
clearly
not. Absolutely not.
recall
No,
this happening. We did the Harlem Shake
no.
at the what is it called? It's like the basically college day, tech day. I don't remember what they called it. Time Out for Tech. That's what it was. We did it the Harlem Shake at Time Out for Tech with the kids who were coming to see if they were going to come to tech.
No, I refuse. No, no, no.
Yes.
Were people planking too? Like,
I think that was a few years earlier. I think that was high school times that people were planking.
I don't think people were planking until I was in college.
It may have been my senior year of high school then. No, I think it was my junior year of high school when people started planking. I don't know. You're welcome to do your research on planking. It was a weird time. So on this day,
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, no, it was early to mid 2011 into 2012. So yeah, I was in college. I was like,
yeah, there were lots of war deaths on this day.
oh, good.
It was also St. Paddy's Day in Ireland and the UK on the 18th. But most importantly, it was our dear friend Jamie's 20th birthday.
That's right.
Yes. And that also means it was our wannabe dear friend Adam Levine's 34th birthday. And
I have never wanted to be dear friends with Adam Levine.
Okay, well, you're wrong, first of all. I love him. And Jamie would tweet at him every year, and we never got a tweet back. And so me and Caitlin and Carrie would all tweet out happy birthday to Jamie and Adam Levine. And we never got a retweet or anything. It was sad. But that's the most important thing that happened on that day was Jamie's birthday. And it is not relative to anyone else except our friends. So
correct.
That's that. I have too many notes, so I'm sorry. This is going to be a long one, probably. The director is Tucker Gates. He was known for Alias, which I've never watched and always wanted to.
It's good.
Jonah Hex. I've never even heard of that.
Oh, it's a comic book movie.
Oh, okay. Well, he's known for that. And Homeland, which I have never heard of, and I've never really cared to watch, but I've heard good things about it. Very popular.
Yeah.
He also directed several episodes of Lost. So,
A+.
where he's coming from. Our writers, starting out, Carlton Cuse. He is best known for writing on Lost. He is also known for Colony, which was one of our shows on the Wheel of Fun.
It's my favorite.
He is from Mexico City, and he went to Harvard, so he is very smart.
Nice.
He is the creator, writer, showrunner, and executive producer for the show. And his most recent credit, which is a show I love dearly that he's worked on, is Lock and Key.
Oh.
It's really good. I only know people, the only people I know who have watched it are me and Rachel. But it's excellent. If you haven't watched it, you should. It's a little creepy.
He's also the producer for that John Krasinski action show. The
Threat Level Midnight.
What? The Jack Ryan?
Oh, is he?
Yes.
I missed that somewhere in my notes. Somebody wrote Threat Level Midnight in this cast, and I didn't write it down. So
Threat Level Midnight
from The Office.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. No, yeah. I was like, that's not a real movie. It's
right.
Office movie.
They had a whole thing with it last year.
I do remember that.
Carrie Aaron is next. She is best known for The Wonder Years back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Pretty big name. She was a producer on Friday Night Lights. Again,
also love that show.
Yep, excellent. For this show, she is the showrunner and the co-creator. Okay. She was born in Los Angeles. She is currently the showrunner for The Morning Show, which is on Apple TV Plus with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston, the news one. Yeah.
Yes. And fun fact, she wrote her thesis on the works of Lewis Carroll.
Oh, I like that.
I also liked that. That made me happy. Okay. And then next we have Anthony Cipriano. There is
We have a lot of writers.
I have a lot of writers in this episode. I only have one more after this.
Oh.
He was born in Providence, Rhode Island. This is his biggest and most recent credit. And then, of course, they credit Robert Bloch, who wrote the novel.
Okay.
He's credited just as writing the novel, essentially. And Bill Ballas, it's Balas. He is credited as a staff writer on here. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio. His biggest shows are Bates Motel and then Animal Kingdom, which was a show on TNT.
Which I heard of vaguely.
I do not know anything about it, but it was the only other credit he has, and it was considered a big credit, I guess. So,
okay.
Now for the cast. There's a lot of them. I am not doing all of them. I am doing 2.
I was going to say, there's only 2 that are really solidly important, I feel like.
Right. So that's the 2 I'm covering. We're going to start with Vera Farmiga, who plays Norma Bates. She is known for Up in the Air with George Clooney, which I haven't seen, that has been on my Netflix list probably since it came out in 2009. The Departed, Orphan, which I have seen. It's creepy. It's decent. And then the show.
I love Orphan. The Orphan is one of my favorite horror movies.
It is terrifying, but she is on it.
She's also in The Conjuring, right? Did you say The Conjuring?
I'm not there yet.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not there yet. Give me some time.
Okay.
Her trademark is that she frequently plays the mother of disturbed children, which, what a trademark.
What a trademark
to have. Now, she is best known, thank you for spoiling it, for playing Lorraine Warren in the Conjuring films.
I was like, I didn't realize that you had another thing because you started to say trademark, and then I was like, no, but like she's definitely in The Conjuring.
No, she is. She was born in Clifton, New Jersey. And this is a fun fact you're going to like. She's married to a guy now who's in a band that I hadn't heard of. His last name's Hockey. I do not remember. But the guy she was first married to is Sebastian Roach, who plays Mikkel on the Vampire Diaries, or Michael on the Vampire Diaries, and the originals.
Oh, yeah, Michael's a piece of shit. He's the dad that ruined everything. I hate him.
Yes, but he's in the show.
Okay.
So, a nice connection. And last, but certainly not least, even though we did not do American Horror Story, her sister is Tessa Farmiga, who is one of the main cast members in the AHS series. And she is who I recommended to play George in our recast of Dead Like Me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I did not realize they were sisters until today, but that is fun. I have less to say about Freddie Highmore, who is our next person. He is Norman Bates in this role.
You have less to say about him?
I have less to say about him, but I have things to say about him.
Okay.
He started out as a child actor. He was in Finding Neverland, Spiderwick Chronicles, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the lesser version, and The Best Show on the Planet, August Rush.
Yeah.
And I love him. I think he's a phenomenal actor. He is currently known for playing the Good Doctor. If you've ever watched The Bachelor Live, you have seen a preview of it because it comes
Absolutely. Or Dancing with the Stars every time.
Or
it comes on right after Dancing with the Stars. Also, I'm pretty sure you're missing a very important one.
It's very possible.
Let me just double check that I'm not talking out of my ass when I say this. Oh, no, that one is very important to me.
Okay. Yes. Which one is important to you?
So here's the thing. He plays this character named Arthur in a movie called Arthur and the Invisibles. Now, Arthur and the Invisibles, it's a cute movie. It's not even like Arthur and the Invisibles is only the English name. It's actually called Arthur and the Minimoys, and the Minimoys are the species of like tiny little invisible creatures that are there. But I first watched the movie in German because the German dub of Freddie Highmore's character is Bill Kaulitz from Tokyo Hotel.
Okay.
So I've been obsessed with this movie And it's just Freddie Highmore playing a cute little kid who gets shrunk down into this invisible thing and has to go in the grass and work with these creatures to save the farm from getting like bought by. I don't know. It's a dumb movie, but
I'm sure it's lovely. But we all see why it was not on my list. We can see.
He was in all three of them. There were three.
Wow. That is not a movie I would expect to have sequels. But that's...
I mean, he was also in Astro Boy.
I also didn't see that one, but I have heard of that one at least. He's great. But he was born in Camden Town, London, so he's English.
Yes.
And I have a very fun fact for you about him and his life. And I screenshotted it, so I did not forget because I have a terrible memory. His mother is Sue Lattimore, who's a talent agent, and one of her biggest clients is Daniel Radcliffe, which is fun. And a fun fact about Vera and Freddie, they are like real life BFFs.
Yes.
And he is the godfather to her child. They're super close.
Correct. He's also married.
But he just got married, I think.
He just got married in September and like didn't even like announce it, except for that Jimmy Kimmel was like, "Are you wearing a wedding ring?" He was like, "Oh yeah, no, I am."
People keep asking me about this. I guess I should address it. That's basically how he announced it.
Yeah. Freddie Highmore is, in fact, one of the most attractive people in the world to me.
Really?
I have the biggest crush on him because he is my age. So he's somebody that has always been age appropriately cute and was like, when I was younger, he was in things like Charlie and Finding Neverland that I thought his character was cute and sad. And then he got older and played smart characters. And now I'm like attracted to his smartness. I'm like, I just find him very attractive. And so we're going to run into the same problem that I thought I was going to have in the first place of watching Psycho, where there are going to be times where cognitively I'm like, this is not okay. But like when he says it, it's okay because I like toxic men.
Yes. We have discussed this in the movie version of this podcast. So I was prepared that that could be an issue. But it's okay. It's all right. So, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Let's go. We open this show with Norman in bed watching a TV show. And the TV show is actually His Girl Friday that stars Cary Grant.
Yes.
And the scene they're showing on the TV is discussing a relationship with his mother. And so it was very like kismet because it's the same type of relationship Norman has with his mother type thing.
Right. But it also opens us up to my very first genuine problem with this show.
That was very fast. Okay.
I know. The show is theoretically a prequel to the movie Psycho, but it takes place in a time when TV and cell phones happen. And I have so many issues with that.
So that is addressed in how it is released. I did not give my spill. I apologize. I was scared from when Mary Kate asked me to introduce the show. So this is written as a prequel. It's written as a modern prequel to the original. So what they did was they wanted to set it in a modern timeline because it was being released now, but then they have all of these, like they pay homage to the original with a lot of the scenes, and it is set in our time, but there's so many things they've included that happened before the movie would have happened.
Right. Well, but and
I'm going to go into that more.
I know, and I did my own research on just that element of it because Monica and I were FaceTime last night talking about it, and I was like, I don't understand what contemporary prequel means. Like these words don't make sense to me, and so it's just gonna bother me for a minute. Like I'm sure once I'm into the show, it'll be fine. But like opening immediately on a TV screen, I was like, no.
It's just a
No.
genre choice you are not comfortable with yet.
Correct.
But that's all it is. It's not an error. It's
No, it's not an error.
Yeah.
It's not an error at all. It's a choice that they made. It's just a choice that I don't agree with.
Right. I thought about it for a while because I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first. And then I decided that I think it's genius. And I really like that they've done it this way. And there are certain scenes that play out that make me happy they did it this way. And I'll approach them as I do.
Okay.
So we see Norman racing through the house, yelling for his mom because he knows something bad has happened. He's going through, there's the stovetop is like on and boiling over and whatnot. And he's going through, and while he's running through this scene, we get the first homage to the movie. There are birds on all the walls, like bird pictures on the walls, which is what Norman had on the hotel walls too.
Yes.
And he runs into the basement and finds his dad dead. Now, this is where you're all going to learn how terrible of a memory I have. I know full well that I'm pretty sure we discussed how he died in the movie. And I think there's a big spoiler that goes along with it. And for the life of me, I have forgotten it. So it's all going to be new to me when I come across it again. Oh, because I know it's a big deal and I vaguely know what it's about.
But it's not consistent. This is not consistent to what happened in the movie.
I don't know if that's true. It's presented because if it's the way I remember it, I think it's presented this way to throw you off.
Okay, but no, because in the movie, what they said is that he committed suicide, which it didn't end up being true, but they said that he poisoned himself and he died in bed with the mom. So that's already not true.
Okay. I forgot that part.
Yeah. That's why I'm sure the suicide not being suicide might still play in, but it's already not consistent.
Well, I mean, they did it this way for dramatic effect. This was
of course.
So I just wasn't sure what you were saying you didn't remember from the movie, because I was like, this isn't how he died in the movie. Like, I didn't specifically remember.
Okay.
But I was like, I know that it was something that we didn't know. Just couldn't remember exactly what.
Yeah.
But so he runs through the house and he finds his dad dead in the basement and runs through the house to look for his mom. And at this point, I said, is the mom also a psychopath or just Norman? Because we get a lot from the movie. But, if you haven't watched it, I'm not going to spoil it because I know we talked about it, but we're starting the show fresh. And so I'm not giving you anything that happened in the movie unless it's an homage.
Okay.
And I said, this is a very strong start to a show.
Oh, for sure.
You got the intensity, you got the suspense, you had the modern genre. They got across what they wanted to get. It's a modern genre, and it feels, the setting is like a 50s setting, though.
Yeah.
The house feels like they're living in the 50s, but in modern day. And so I feel like they really got their style across in the first scene. You were hooked. It was like a good summation, and then you're into the show. So I was like, that's a really strong start. And I like something that catches you off guard that way. I don't care for a slow start.
I did have a couple of problems in this scene, though.
Yeah.
So he yells at her that she needs to hurry and come downstairs because dad is downstairs. I mean, they go down to the basement where the dead body is. My first note literally just says, that's not hurrying, ma'am.
That is not, yes. And that's when I put, is she also a psychopath?
And then my next note says, even if you didn't know that she killed him, which the look on her face when he was like, Dad's downstairs, she like rolled her eyes like, oh, here we go. I was like, bitch killed him.
Right.
Which we don't actually know, but like, she killed him.
Right.
Then, even if that wasn't clear by the eye roll, it was clear by the fact that like she shows zero emotion about this dead man who's supposedly her husband, except for that she's worried about Norman crying. I was like, this is not how we react to a dead man.
Everyone grieves differently. This is not one of those options.
No.
You have to have a reaction of sorts.
Yes.
Even going blank and not being able to react at all
Is a reaction. Yeah.
This wasn't that.
No.
This was complete disregard.
Correct.
So, yes.
So I would have to say that so far, I think, yes, she is a psychopath.
I'm putting my money on that.
Mm.
And then we jump 6 months later, and we are in the car driving to a new location that I wrote down somewhere and forgot. It's in Oregon. I forgot the exact town.
Which is not where it is in the movie.
No. And it's shot in, I think it's shot in British Columbia. It's shot somewhere else.
It's probably shot in Vancouver.
I think it was shot in Vancouver too. And this is kind of the first scene we get, the conversation between Norma and Norman, because the beginning is a lot.
Yeah.
And so he has that kind of snark, but not being over the top confident like you would expect from Norman Bates. But at this point, I don't immediately get Norman vibes with Freddie Highmore.
I mean, he's still so young, though. Like, that's the point.
I know.
He hasn't developed into what we remember from the movie yet.
And that's why I'm not writing it off as he's not a good fit. I'm writing it off as like, I haven't decided yet, and I need to watch the development to see how it goes.
Sure.
But as of now, I don't feel like I get it enough yet. And I do know.
But I think that's totally on purpose.
And it could be. It very well could be. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just not there yet. So they arrive at the hotel, which Norma got.
Hold on. In the car, they have this conversation. And they're talking about starting over. And I wrote, this is the most unsettling thing I've ever heard anyone say. And like, he might not be full Norman, but like he says, maybe some people aren't meant to start over. They just bring themselves to a new place. And I was like, that is so fucking unsettling. I don't even know.
Oh, for sure. He definitely has some quirks. For sure. But at this point, even at this point, he's been through a lot. I mean, he found his dad dead, and him and his mom clearly have a strained relationship. So, like, I would be surprised if he wasn't a little
right.
But yeah, so they have arrived at the motel, and it turns out that the mom got the house also with the hotel on a foreclosure sale.
Yes,
turns out to be a whole thing. And they go into the house to like explore it, and I was just like, these houses freak me out. I don't know what it is about these old big houses.
Yeah.
But I live in a studio, and I'm happy to do so. Like, I don't need corners. I don't need stairs.
Whereas I live in a 3-story house built in 1900 that literally has a layout that could be creepier than the Bates house.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I'm like, no.
I like being able to see every inch of my apartment at one time.
So unaffected.
It is it's how I like to be.
There's rooms in my house that I haven't been in 10 years.
That is upsetting to me. You don't know what's in those rooms now.
No idea. None.
That is terrifying. You could have water there and never know it. I hope you don't, though.
No, I'm sure I don't.
So I looked up the house because obviously it looks like the original house.
Yes.
But I hadn't looked up where they were filming yet. And so this is where I looked up, and it said they were filming in Vancouver. And even though it is identical to the house, it is not the original, because the original is in like Universal or something. It's in like some like on the Universal parking lot or something.
Yes.
Where they have all the prop houses, basically. Correct. And so it is an exact replica, just it's a replica. So no, but
that was my note, that they did a really good job of recreating it, because I knew it wasn't the same house, but it was so good.
Yeah, I had to question it, because I was like, I don't even know where this was filmed. I was like, it could have very well been the same one, and I would not have like questioned it. Yeah. And at this point, I also said, this is where I'm really excited to see where the camera work goes in this show, because it was excellent in the scene. I mean, and with the homages to the original movie, it's excellent. We see the scene with her, the camera pans over to her at the window, and it's the exact scene we have in the original movie in the 1960s.
Except that she's naked and he's
Well, yeah, that's because it's a whole
yeah,
movie.
but I was like, that is your mother.
Right. They're not going to show that in the 1960s, though, so we don't know if she was or not.
We do know because she was dead.
Okay, well, we didn't see that scene, but yes. So I thought that was such a good scene and such a good like angle and everything. And so then we are at the bus stop, and Norman is new to school, naturally, because they've just moved there. And we start learning a few things about him. Apparently, he has an older brother.
Yeah, that was new information.
New for me. As I said, I'm reading the book, and I will let you know if that is this series only thing or if it's actually part of the original book.
Right.
Because it was not in the movie. But yeah, so I was a little thrown off by that. And then these girls just immediately invite him to get in the car with them out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, they're teenagers, so they're stupid. Fine.
Yeah.
They probably haven't seen a new guy in their neighborhood because it's tiny in years. But you don't even know him. Why are you inviting a strange person into your car?
Correct.
And I was watching this with my aunt, and she was just like, how desperate are they for boys here? There's a lot of boys there. But
these girls, I literally was like, they make me so uncomfortable because they're like the epitome of pick-me girls. Like they were like, new boy, let's all fight to be the one. Like I couldn't. I honestly hoped something bad happened to them. They
deserve it. They were not careful at all. They invited in essentially a murderer. So I was like, okay, we're just letting this go, that this is not a normal thing that happened in it or should happen, and it did.
Yes.
So now he's in class, and the teacher holds him back and tries to get him involved. And this was, again, another scene that I couldn't remember from the movie. Was he in track? Because I feel like he
he definitely runs, but we don't ever talk about his high school at the movie. He's so much past that they don't really talk about it.
Right, but I thought he had talked about running in the movie.
Oh, maybe.
And
here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you recognized the English teacher the second she opened her voice. I didn't even see her face yet. She opened her mouth, and I go, I wish the blue fairy was my English teacher.
I recognized her, and I could not place her for the longest time. I was like, I know her. Who is she? And
but I was like, yep, nope. I wish the blue fairy was my English teacher. Like immediately, I wasn't even looking at the screen because I was still taking a note, and then I just heard the voice, and I go, okay, Mother Superior, I see you.
Right. And this scene also made me wonder where exactly the show is going to go. Because obviously we're going to have a whole Norman thing. I mean, it's just how it is. But also, she came on a little strong to be his teacher.
She was touching his hand, and I was like, please don't make the mistake of getting affectionate with him. Like, don't. Because I saw it as two different things happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it because I also am that English teacher who gets involved in everybody's lives all the time. I saw it as her being like, this kid has gone through some traumatic stuff. Mm-hmm. He's a kid. He needs support. I'm reaching out to touch his hand because I'm not going to go any farther than that, but I want him to know that I'm here for him. Mm-hmm. But I also saw it as this man who has never had a healthy relationship with adult females is getting physical affection from an adult female. And if she is not careful, it's going to be read in a different way than what she's doing. But also, like, maybe she is doing it in that way. And then, like, that's so many layers of how not okay I was with that hand touch.
I had the same feeling. And the way the camera landed on it.
Yes.
Didn't answer any questions.
No.
It made more. Like, which again was a good like camera scene in my head. Yeah. Like I'm so excited to see how this show goes. And is it also going to be our newest show, Hemlock Grove was over in 15 or 16. Is that right?
Yeah, Hemlock Grove was 13, 14, and 15. So it ended in 15. Yeah.
So this one started the same year as Hemlock Grove, but it's
Yep.
going to go through 2017.
So then
So we're going to get a little bit of newer stuff, and I'm interested to see from a perspective of Hemlock Grove was one of the original Netflix shows, so it didn't have a huge budget, but it was on what is now a big network. And this coming from A&E, which has a whole different budget, has a whole different type of show, how it's going to be produced.
And it already had the cult following that is Psycho.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was coming from a much bigger place.
Yeah. I mean, hell, you had Freddie Highmore as the lead. Like that's
exactly. Yeah. And this may have been his first not child role. Because the one right before this, I think, was August Rush, which would have been 09.
No, I think there's definitely something in between that's just not as popular.
Okay. This was the first one I knew of him as not.
Yeah. No, because he played Hallie in Master Harold and the Boys in 2010, which also
I don't know anything about.
It's a August Wilson play.
Okay.
And then he had The Art of Getting By in 2011. He had the TV film Toast in 2010. He had a couple things that are like just not super like The Art of Getting By was in 2011. It was a rom-com with him.
I heard about it.
With him and Emma Roberts. Mm-hmm. So like it was a Sundance film, so it was like not so like he had stuff, but this was the first like majorly recognized thing. So yeah, it did kind of seem like this kid from August Rush was jumping into like the dress of Norman Bates, and that's just a weird transition.
It is weird, but I've also like seen him in enough different things that I'm okay with the fact that he could take on a lot of different roles.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, like, especially now after like The Good Doctor and a lot of other stuff that he's done, then like his versatility is
amazing.
Yeah.
He's wonderful. So then we jump back home and it's dinner with Mom. And he is running late because he stayed late to see how track was and if he was going to join. And at this point, you can already tell there's an unhealthy relationship. If you know nothing about Psycho going in, you know at this point they have an unhealthy relationship.
I was like, oh, this poor baby doesn't even know his mom's fucking crazy.
I know. I put, wow, she's manipulative as hell. And then
when she freaked out about like how much work the motel was and everything, I was like, gaslighting your own child is a fucking next level move.
You're the parent. It's your job to take care of your kid and your property that you chose to buy.
Oh, like even if she wasn't like crazy, I would still hate her because like that's not no.
She's treating him like a partner, like a spouse instead of like her child. And like they're having like marital fights.
Yes.
And it is not okay.
But it's like not even even if it was her husband, that's not a healthy way to speak to someone.
Well, it's also not a healthy, but like
she's like, but she's like, oh. No, it's obviously he's 17 and your child. So that's like one level. And like the gaslighting is a second level. And it's just like not.
Yep.
No.
Yep. No. So after this fun back and forth, we go outside to the next day where he is beating a rug to clean it because they have inherited everything that was in the house on top of the house. And so it's ancient and dusty.
Correct.
And this guy from around the way shows up and he's being a real jerk about them moving in. Oh, yeah. Because it turns out that his family used to have this property and they'd had it for decades. And then the bank took it back because, they foreclosed it. Nobody could pay any bills or anything, assumably. I mean, that's what happens. Yeah. And so he's mad someone else bought it. But, like, that's what was going to happen. That's how it works. And then he's very threatening, which is not fun. And one thing about Norma, she does not stand down.
Right. I was like, listen, lady, I hate you, but that was a boss bitch move. Like, that was... Right. I appreciate her ability to be like, I don't care that I'm a woman and that you think that I'm weak. get the fuck off my property or I will call the cops. Like,
Right.
these are your options.
I was like, you are crazy, but you did do the right thing here.
Correct.
Like those two things can go together. At this point, I just put poor Norman. This show is going to make us feel bad for him because being the prequel, we're going to spend, no doubt, we're going to spend most of this series feeling bad for him before things go off the rails.
You know, I thought that, but I already don't know that that's true.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, is it because you have prior knowledge? You know where we're going?
No.
Oh.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. Got you.
Yeah.
So this is where I put the show is set in modern days, but has the home stuck in the older days, which is similar to the house they lived in before. But when you walk into this house, they have an old record player going. They have all this furniture that's from the olden days. Like,
which granted, they did say disclaim by the fact that like these were all inherited together, like from the original house.
Right. So, so it was explained, but I just think it was well done. I just love having the old setting in a modern time and getting away with it because of how you've explained it.
Which, yeah.
And so I didn't know, but I really like that in a show, turns out. And so this girl that comes to his house to ask him, it's the group of people, but the girl that's talking comes to ask
Bradley.
him. Her name is Bradley Martin. I was a music major with a guy named Bradley Martin. And so he is the only person I could think of the whole time watching this episode. Every time she was on screen, I was like, you are very different people. But so I could not get behind her name because I need her to have a different name.
I need her to have a different personality.
I mean, that wouldn't hurt either. So she comes up to the door and Norma answers it and immediately shuts it down. She's like, no, he can't go out. We have too much to do. And I bet she is just a helicopter parent to the extreme in an unhealthy way. Like, she is monitoring and managing every second of everything he does.
Well, and then when they go back in after she tells Bradley no, they have this whole fight. And she's like, you don't know them. You can't trust them. And he's like, how the fuck am I supposed to like have a normal life if I don't talk to anybody but you? They're like screaming at each other. I was like, this whole thing just gives me the ick. I hate it. Like,
it does. And this is another scene where I was like, this still doesn't feel like Norman Bates to me because I've started reading the book. And so the book starts out with a back and forth with him and his mom. And watching the movie, reading the book, this isn't the same vibe I get with their relationship as of now. And it's, what are you looking
Sorry, at? I just heard someone singing.
Oh, yeah. It's outside the streets of New York.
Okay. I didn't know where it was coming from. It scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I live on the bottom floor of an apartment in Manhattan. So things happen.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. But yeah, so I just want it to feel a little more spot on because like I know.
Now what is the issue? Is it that he is fighting back with his mom too much? Like he's not submissive?
No, it's not what he says. He says all the right things. They're supposed to have this like back and forth. There's just something, and I don't know what.
Okay.
But there's something.
I was gonna say I don't have that vibe. I feel like it's just the precursor. Like it hasn't gone spiraled far enough that he couldn't. Like if somebody came in and saved him from this right now, he'd still be able to be a normal person.
Yeah.
He hasn't fallen off the cliff yet.
No, and that's fine. But like they've always had these spats.
Well, no, for sure.
But I don't know. And I can't put my finger on it yet. So just know that's how I feel.
Okay.
And we'll come back to it when I figure it out exactly what it is. Or when something changes and I say that's what was different. So we'll see. So one of two things will happen. So he decides she tells him to go to his room. And so he runs up to his room and he immediately texts Bradley because he's decided he's sneaking out. And he sure makes a lot of noise for someone who is sneaking out. He is like falling all over the place.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how? How is she not hearing any of this?
Yeah, I have no idea.
So then he meets up with Bradley, and it shows how like disconnected he is from having friends, because she is just like, oh, that's so cute. You thought we were actually going to study when they're clearly going to a party.
Yeah.
And I just put drugs, alcohol, and high school kids. Oh my. Like
I my note says literally never seen a house party like that ever. Like I don't know if I just went to a sheltered like school or what, but like never in my entire life.
in college.
Well, in college, I mean, but in college everybody bought black lights for their dorms just because they could. Like, but like never. Like even in college, like that's not what parties were like, and I'm just baffled by that.
No, it was not.
Okay.
It was.
I'm glad I'm not alone in that.
No, absolutely not. And then he has this whole conversation with Bradley. She comes up and she's like, did everybody leave you? And I'm like, first of all, you invited him. You're the one who shouldn't have left him. But okay. And he's just like, oh, I'm just enjoying the view. And she's like, oh, is that a line? And he has no idea. Like, this shows how, like, his social...
Well, because he didn't even say he was enjoying the view. He said there's so much to look at.
Oh, yeah.
And that doesn't sound like you're hitting on me at all. That kind of sounds like if you're saying anything about me, it's that I'm big.
Yeah, or that you're so overwhelmed by everything that you, like, don't want to be there.
Right.
Like, and so he, like, doesn't notice, and they're talking about how people are different. He just says, I think people who are different don't know they're different because they're incapable of seeing it. And I was like, that is very fair. That is very true.
And but then she says, you are different. You're like a deep, still lake surrounded by concrete. And he was like, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Apparently, that was supposed to be a line that referenced the original movie because of the lake in the movie. I don't know if that's real true, but it was listed in the trivia.
Okay, that's fine. Either way, not a good way to hit on somebody.
No. I didn't think it was a necessary line either, even if that's how it was meant to be.
And I literally just was like, oh, Bradley, you were trying so hard.
Yeah. And then
fucking pick me, girl.
Right. Then this guy walks up and starts talking to her, and like she decides she's gonna go off with him. And I'm like, who invites someone to a party that doesn't know anyone and then just
No. Here's the thing. Did you not get that that's her boyfriend?
No, yeah. But like no, I got that. But also
okay. But that's her boyfriend, and her boyfriend was clearly not okay with her talking to Norman and was like,
right. But then she shouldn't have invited him in the first place if she was just going to leave him there.
Well, duh, but she's a pick-me girl.
And I want to punch her in the face.
Absolutely. But I also now understand why she's trying so hard with Norman, because that's her boyfriend.
I mean, okay. That is true. He's not great. But yeah. So then trigger warning, this is a rough scene. Yes. We go back to the Bates house, and Norma's washing dishes, and we start hearing these noises. I thought at first, naively, that it was Norman coming back in because he made so much noise when he left. I thought he was also making noise when he came back in.
I thought it was definitely someone at the house, but my note was like, normally when a woman's home alone, I like worry about her. But like with Norma, I kind of worry about whoever's coming for her.
Fair. I just assumed it was Norman. But again, naively.
Yeah.
So turns out it's Keith Summers, the crazy neighbor guy who used to live here. And this is kind of sad. She calls for Norman and he's not there. And while she should not be having to call for Norman, and he should not have been there because she should have let him go study, she thinks he's there and has no idea that she's completely alone with this psycho. Yeah. And that's kind of sad. And then, again, naively, I said, OMG, what's he going to do to her? That was the wrong question, because then he rapes her, and I just put, this first episode is hella brutal.
Yeah, like, I did get a warning from Monica that scene, she told me that the scene existed, not who or what, no like spoilers, but that there was a graphic rape scene.
Yes.
And also like that she never finished watching the show because she watched that first episode and couldn't get through that scene and then just never finished the show. Like that's how bad it was.
Very fair, because it is a lot more intense than you see on TV normally.
Yeah.
And it was an A&E show, and I don't watch a lot of A&E shows, so I don't know what it's normally like. Kind of felt like it was like an HBO type show. I would expect that from HBO.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So
I mean, to be honest, some of the Game of Thrones rape wasn't even as intense as that.
I haven't seen them.
No, but I'm saying like an HBO show that like is known for having like sex and violence didn't even make me as uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's because this was just so realistic.
Yeah.
Whereas in Game of Thrones, I feel like I've seen like 2 episodes, like randomly. I feel like it's unrealistic enough that even though you know that things are happening, you're not there, I guess.
Right.
And,
right.
With this, it was definitely different. Not great. So then Norman walks in and smacks him over the head with an iron, which is kudos to him.
Yeah.
Good timing. Could have been a little earlier, but better late than never. Exactly. And so they immediately like handcuff her, and then they handcuff Keith to his own wrist, and then he starts taunting her again, and she climbs on top of him and stabs him.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't going to repeat it, but welcome to you.
She sends Norman out of the room to go get an emergency kit for the cut on her hand. And once she is alone in the room, this man has the nerve to say, "You liked it." And that's when she freaks out and attacks him. And I said, I too would have stabbed him, but just like maybe not so many times, because I wrote that entire sentence and she was still stabbing him.
I don't know that I would have stopped either, to be fair.
I probably would have, because I like would have then had the realization that I had actually stabbed him and like kind of panicked and like gotten anxiety. So like maybe 2 or 3 times, not 10.
I can't say I would have stopped still.
That's fair.
I'm just thinking I might not have. I don't blame her. Another scene where I fully agree with what she's done. I mean,
okay, but followed immediately by a scene where I fully don't.
Yes, absolutely. So then Norman comes back and they're talking about what they're going to do. And he's like, we should report it. It's self-defense. There's no chance you're going to everything's fine. We're not going to get away with this. And she's like, we are not about to put this in the public because we are not going to be known as the rape and murder hotel. And I was like, also fair, but also you did just kill a guy. You do have to report it. It was self-defense. And I'm going to guess people probably know this guy and would know that it was self-defense, because in a small town like this, you don't just be the crazy person without everyone knowing about it. So like,
also like he raped you. There are tests that you can do for like specimens.
Right. That is a whole different discussion because they do not always get processed very quickly.
Oh no, that's not untrue. But like that, I'm also saying there's still proof.
Yes.
The way our justice system works with rape is not the point of the conversation.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So the thing is, this was a little levity in this scene. She's like, where were you? I thought you were upstairs. And he's just like matter-of-factly like, I was at a party. I thought I was going to study. And it's like, okay, I understand that that's not a problem now because a lot more has happened since then. But you were just very straightforward with that. And
I mean, I've definitely like snuck out and then been like, here's the thing. I snuck out. I'm fucked up. Like, these are all the problems that happened because I snuck out. Might as well let you know I snuck out.
See, I would also not do that. I would lie about it.
Nope. I definitely have blown everyone in when it
I also never snuck out. So,
I did.
maybe
Quite a few
that
times.
makes a difference.
That
Maybe
does change things. Yeah. No.
Yeah, but I just don't think I would have said anything still. It feels like something I would have lied about. Just feels.
Yeah. No. And I see. I'm saying from experience that I definitely.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Right. So then while they're discussing this, he's like, well, what do you think we should do? And she starts telling him how they're going to dispose of this body. And I was like, it definitely sounds like you've disposed of a body before.
I literally was like, you are a horrible human and an even worse mother. Like, I cannot deal with any of this.
Yes. 100%. I was like, this is a lot. So while they're figuring out exactly what to do with his body, they take him into room number 4, which has no significance. It would have been nice if it did.
I know.
I wanted it to be the same room number as Marion was in.
Which was not. 1.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Would have been easy to do. Missed opportunity, guys.
Correct.
But it's okay, especially because they put him in a shower. Like,
yeah, but I'm sure that as the series goes on, there will be plenty of that.
I'm sure there will be, but like, since we're doing so many homages already in the first scene, like episode, just give us another one.
Fair.
It's an easy one. So then she decides they're gonna just recarpet rooms 4 through 7 at midnight.
Because there's enough blood on the carpet that they're gonna have to do something, and they can't get rid of it. They're gonna have to pull up the whole carpet. But since 4 through 7 all have the same carpet, they might as well just say that it's a renovation and pull up all of the carpets and re-put them, which is absolutely the correct thing to do to hide that murder.
Yes.
Which I wrote pulling up all the carpet is all well and good, but it's like the middle of the night.
And also maybe not with your child. Like, maybe send him to bed or something and you take care of it.
Right. No, but like, yes, for sure. But like, all judgments on her parenting styles aside, you made the correct choice in how to cover up your murder.
Yes.
But like, maybe let him have a rest. He just helped you murder someone.
Right. Or even if you like pulled up one carpet and half of another, it would look like you were renovating still.
Correct.
So like, you don't have to keep him up all night, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So then this is a new element that I was not sure where it came from. While he is pulling up the carpet in one of the rooms in room number 4, there's a diary under the carpet. Well, I don't know if it's a diary. It looks like a diary.
It's a journal of some kind.
With pictures and written in Chinese. It's in a different language.
I didn't catch what was on the pages. I just wrote, who the fuck's journal is this?
Right. And I don't.
Well, because again, me looking down to take notes, I missed where he found it. I just looked up and he had it in his hand, and I didn't know if it was his or if he found it on the body or if he found it in the room. I was confused, and I was like, what the fuck?
He found it under the carpet when he was pulling it up.
Okay. That makes sense, except for that it also doesn't make sense.
Right. Exactly. And I don't know the relevance yet. So I'm guessing this is a new storyline we haven't discussed in previous films. But who knows? There's 5 of them. I have no idea what happens in the other films. I am planning to watch them. I just have not yet.
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever watch them.
I want to, so I have more insight into this show.
Just but so I don't think that this storyline is connected to the films at all.
No, it's not. I don't think it is at all. I just
want
a full view of the universe that is Psycho.
Oh, okay.
For myself to discuss. That's all. I don't plan to have it on the show unless I mention it myself.
Oh, okay.
So then a sheriff pulls into the motel parking lot. And this was very reminiscent of Janet Leigh's sister and fiance showing up, or boyfriend. I don't remember if they were engaged or not. But it was the same type of scene because I think he had just gotten rid of the body when they showed up. There were still pieces of paper in the waste bin or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they had just gotten his body and gotten the carpet up, and then the 2 policemen show up. And I was like, this is a very parallel scene.
I wrote of course the cops are there. Can you please just arrest them and then end the whole show? Because I was just so frustrated with all of her choices as a human.
Yes. Well, unfortunately for you, but fortunately for this podcast, this is not the episode. So stay tuned for that. This is also where we learn Norman's 17. We know roughly his age, but she actually says that he's 17 at this point. Or he does. I don't actually remember who says it now that I'm thinking about it. I think he may have said it, but then I wondered, why are the cops immediately suspicious of her? Like, she just bought this place. And I get that they didn't know anyone had bought the place yet, but once she
came off to me that Deputy Shelby, who's super hot, my note is that he's a hottie, is a little bit dumb, and the sheriff is just kind of misogynistic and suspicious of everyone. That's how it came off to me. There might be more, but that's the vibe I got.
That's fair, because I could not find a reason, because she didn't seem suspicious at all. And she does own this place. And I mean, it's weird that she's in the middle of the night renovating, but also like people who renovate sometimes do in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he seemed like
he
seemed like he just questioned her judgment and also like was not cool with the kid being up that late.
Right, which also like is true, but also not his decision. It's not his kid. Like,
I know. It kind of had this like weird thing where it like felt like it was trying to be just like caring small town cop, but also trying to make you feel edgy and suspicious, and it wasn't quite succeeding at either.
Yeah.
Just because they were going in two different directions at the same time.
Yes. I think that is exactly what it was, because I was like, you're not really making me buy anything in this scene. And so then he goes into the bathroom. Okay. I have a complaint, because how is the first thing he did not open the shower curtain? Because spoiler alert, if I ever come to your house and your shower curtain's closed, I've opened it. I will every time.
I don't care. I literally always, I don't care. I would open it. It is so irrelevant to me.
I don't want to die. I like to know if something or someone is in there. I know that's irrational. I get it.
Okay, as long as you know.
But like, that's a common thing people do.
No, I know, but it's still irrational. I've literally never touched someone else's shower curtain.
But also, like, he's already suspicious of them.
For sure. The fact that he is already acting suspicious and didn't open the shower curtain is weird, but that's also why I'm like, I don't know if the vibe was just that we were supposed to be suspicious because they felt suspicious and the cops weren't actually suspicious. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And now I just said suspicious so many times that my brain is saying, don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. So I don't know.
I do think there was good music in the scene for the suspense.
For sure.
It was really well done. I wish I bought the scene more.
Fair.
The music was the only part that I really bought. So now, after they've gotten past all this, the cops have left. We are back at the school, and Norman looks down, and he has blood on his Converse, and immediately goes and throws up, because also he has very gross food on his plate that looks
Man, it's a poor guy.
I know.
Feel bad for him in that scene.
I also did, because man, he's going through a lot right now. Right. And Emma's
a cutie. I love her.
Dakota. I think that's a C. I think it's Dakota.
It's Dakota, yeah.
She is adorable, and I think she's going to be a bigger character in this show based on how the credits were listed.
Yeah.
We do not know a lot about her. I just kept calling her Mint Girl.
She's cute.
But she was very cute, and she was like, don't stop just because it's embarrassing. She was like, you have to get it all out. And I was like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And so I'm interested to see what's going to happen with her. I hope she doesn't die.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And so then we go back to Norma, and she is wandering around the town, and she sees the sign about an open community meeting about a new bypass being built. Very brief scene.
Yeah, I had to pause it and read the scene because I didn't get at first why she was so angry about it. And then I remembered the scene from the movie where Norman talks about when once they built the new highway, nobody ever passes the hotel. And so I had to put those two completely separate incidences together to figure out why she was upset.
That's also how the book starts out, is with him fighting with her over why she never sold the hotel or the motel whenever the bypass was built, because that's why they have been so slow for years. And that's like the first spat they have in the book. So then we go to them stuffing the body in the trunk. And this is, again, very reminiscent of the film. It's how he got rid of Janet Leigh's body. He put her in the trunk and took her out to the lake, and he drowned the whole car in the lake. Whereas they found a canoe. Where did they find a canoe? We'll never know.
No idea.
I was like, that's not something that fits.
Nope.
That's fine. We're just going to accept that they found a canoe and no one was mad about it.
Correct.
And they were talking about the meeting, which was the new bypass and everything. And in a real gaslighting, manipulative fashion, Norma goes off on a tangent about how much she sucks.
I was like, no, yes, you are the worst mother in the world. That's absolutely a true statement.
But naturally, she did it so that Norman would come back and basically say she doesn't suck. And he goes into this whole speech about the cord between our hearts, and it's from Jane Eyre, which is the first notion we get of him reading, which is a big part of his life.
Yeah.
His reading novels and stuff. So,
but it's also the first overtly romantic thing he says to his mother.
Is. But
like there's been undertones, but but even she seems taken aback by it.
She does, but at the same time, I felt like the look on his face felt like he didn't understand that that's how it was.
Right. Well, that's because of the whole fact that he's been toxically
exactly.
But she's been manipulating him into this relationship with her, but he's never said anything that's overtly romantic because he doesn't get it. And so then, and even in this, when he's saying it, he isn't getting that that's what he's saying. But so she's taken aback by the fact that this is the first time that he's like, I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
And I just wrote, God, this is all disgusting. I was just perturbed.
And then naturally they throw the jerk guy in the lake.
Yes.
What else are you gonna do? Fun fact about this scene. So they practiced drowning things in lakes to make it more realistic. Not living things, just,
good. Fantastic.
Things that were body shaped so that they could see how it would go down. And they started by throwing things off of train trestles. And then they just went to piers at public parks and started throwing body shaped objects off of the pier that looked like a wrapped up body. So they could get the scene right.
I would have loved to be in the park that day.
Right? How fun would that be? Whew, very Hitchcock-esque. Yeah. Really stuck to the
source material on that one.
Things, yeah. So now we're back at the motel, and Norma is putting up the infamous sign, Bates Motel. Norman is still reading this weird book where someone is getting a shot. We have no idea what's going on because we just see pictures and not very many things are happening in the pictures. And I can't read Chinese, so I can't tell you what it says. And then she's chatting with Norman and telling him how she made the sign blue because it's his favorite color, and how she's convinced that they're going to shoot down the new bypass that's coming up and everything is going to be fine. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, we go to this very strange place that we've never seen, where someone is shackled and they have track marks up and down their arm, and they are getting shot up from the book.
It's literally the images from the book are happening in real life. Someone was drawing what's actually going on,
and this is the end result of where that started, because there are tons of track marks on their arm.
What
and
the fuck?
That is how this episode ended. And I have to
Lit
say, what a way to keep someone hooked. What a pilot.
facts. No,
It
that's for
started
sure.
strong and it ended stronger.
That, yeah. Yeah.
So it was extremely well done. And I mean, of course, there are things we talked about, like the scene where I didn't buy the suspicious cop and you didn't like some of the modern genres.
Yeah.
So like there are definitely things that like we didn't buy into all the way, and I don't buy in all the way of Freddie Highmore portraying Norman Bates yet. But overall, I am super psyched for this show.
Yeah, for sure.
It's probably going to be a really good one. So, on that note, here's some trivia for you.
Fantastic.
So, when he's at the bus stop in the beginning and first meets Bradley, the music he's listening to is Beethoven's Symphony Number 3, 5, called Eroica. And it's the same song that was on the record player in the 1960s film that Norman had. So very good flashback. Let's see. I said all of these things. Oh, this is what I think is one of the fun things from using this as a prequel in modern times. The butcher knife that she kills the neighbor guy with is the same type of knife that Norman goes on to kill people with in the movie. And I think that is so fun.
I mean, that could have been done in the past too, though. That one doesn't have to be modern.
Well, it doesn't have to be modern, but like I just like how much it like reminds you it's set in the past in a modern time.
Yeah.
And so I liked that. I thought that was fun. That was a good touch they had. So you want to punch in the face?
Norma.
I picked the neighbor guy.
Well, just fair, but like he got his comeuppance. This bitch is still at large.
I mean, he did, but he didn't get like justice. He just got killed. Like worse things could have happened.
That's true.
So, I mean, you're also not wrong, but who is your MVP?
Honestly, the hot cop, because literally no one else is likable.
I picked Norman. I know he's a bad guy. I know we're going to get there, but he's going through a lot right now.
Emma or the hot cop. That's it. Only.
I do also like Emma, but I picked Norman still.
Well, so. I severely disagree. But, and here's the thing, and this is why.
Yes.
The journal. He is poring over these pictures over and over and over again, which means that it's not just the relationship with his mom that's fucked up. He's not okay. Well, he's gonna get himself involved in some shit that like he should not. And I don't
absolutely will.
But I can't feel bad for him when he's sitting there looking at fucking torture porn.
I feel bad for him because he never had a chance.
Okay, fair, but he's looking at fucking torture porn.
No, I agree. That's not great. I do agree that's not great. But I just feel bad for him. Do you have any predictions?
He's going to get himself into some shit with this notebook.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that. Now hear me out.
Okay.
I thought that something was going to happen with Bradley was going to try to like throw herself at him and he was going to freak out. But I think Bradley's going to throw herself at him and his mom's going to tweak out. That's what I think is going to happen because Bradley's going to die. Like, I'm sure of that.
Right.
But I think she's going to kill him, her, not him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fair.
That's my prediction.
Okay. I mean, those are fair predictions. I don't have a lot of predictions because there's not a lot going on, but I wonder if he finds this book and that last scene is actually him in the future torturing someone.
See, I had a thought where I thought that, but I don't think so. I think there's something else going on, and there's some other people that are fucking wacky in this place too.
I think that's also possible, but I wonder. Just a thought I had. So
Interesting.
yeah. So that was our first Thriller Thursday. We had a great time.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day. Happy birthday tomorrow, Jamie and Adam Levine. And it's March. We're making it.
Yeah.
Trucking along. We are thrilled to start some new seasons.
It's true.
So, and I think this is gonna be a good show. I think I'm ready for it. I think it might get scary and uncomfortable, but
I think it will definitely get scary and uncomfortable.
Yeah, so interested to see where that goes, but I'm here for it. So, if you have any thoughts about this show, have any predictions, because neither of us have watched this show.
Correct.
So
I know
no one knows
nothing.
what's going on. So do not send us spoilers, but you can send us your thoughts and predictions at deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can find us on any social media at Death and Aliens. And you can find me at CECloud13.
And you can find me anywhere at EMKAY_superstar.
And we'll see you on Sunday for Sci-Fi Sunday.
Bye.